Let's talk about the weight, not a medical diagnosis, but the kind that feels like gravity just got heavier. The quiet question that hums in the background of a busy life: what's the point? The numbness where there used to be feeling, the flatness. If you've ever felt this, and so many of us have, our culture usually gives us two scripts. One says, "You're broken, go fix yourself." The other says, "Just stay positive. Grind harder." But what if both of those miss something deeper? What if this heaviness isn't a sign that you're failing, but that you're waking up? The 19th century German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche spent his life wrestling with the problem of suffering and meaning. He wrote a line that cuts to the core: "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." Think about that. How the stress, the 9 to 5, the disappointments, the pain is endurable if the why is powerful, clear, and alive. But what happens when that why evaporates? That's the modern weight. It's not always that life has gotten objectively harder, though it often has. It's that the meaning we once attached to our struggles has faded. The old story we told ourselves about why we work, why we strive, why we care, it's stopped resonating. And Nietzsche had a radical take on this. He saw these profound periods of despair not merely as illnesses to be cured, but often as necessary crises. He called it the spirit's metamorphosis. He believed that sometimes you have to watch the old world you lived in, the old values, the old identity, burn to the ground so a new, truer one can be built. In other words, what if the heaviness is the collapse of an old world and not the collapse of you? So, if this is a crisis of meaning, a collapse of an old why then the way through isn't just positive thinking. It's something more demanding and ultimately more freeing. It's what Nietzsche called a revaluation of all values. It's time to become a detective in your own life, to interrogate the invisible rulebook you've been given. I want you to ask with genuine curiosity, not judgment. Who taught me what success means? Is this my definition or one I inhaled from my parents, from Instagram, from my peers? What shoulds am I carrying that are actually suffocating me? I should be married by now. I should love my career. I should be grateful and stop complaining. Are these goals even mine, or am I just reading a script written for someone else? This isn't an exercise in blame. It's an exercise in sovereignty. The numbness often comes because we are living a life that is fundamentally untrue to our deepest evolving selves. We are betraying ourselves by following a path that isn't ours, and the soul protests with heaviness. Nietzsche famously wrote, "If you gaze long into an abyss, the abyss also gazes into you." We often hear that as a warning. And it is. Staring into the void, into the meaninglessness, is terrifying. But he's also saying something else. A profound exchange happens there. You see its depth, and it sees your capacity to hold that depth. This period of heaviness is you gazing into your own abyss. The old answers are gone, the ground is gone, and it's terrifying. But it's also where the potential for your own new meaning is born. You cannot build a new why on the shaky foundation of an old, unexamined why. Sometimes you have to clear the rubble. So the heaviness isn't the wall. It might be the bridge, the chaotic, terrifying, necessary bridge between the person you were told to be and the person you are becoming. The old identity has to die for a truer one to emerge. And that process feels like grief. It feels like loss. It is loss. I'm not ending this with a tidy 5-step solution, because this isn't about a hack. It's about a transformation. I'm ending with an invitation. For the next week, just carry one question with you. Don't force an answer. Just let the question live in the space where the heaviness is. If my current feelings are a signal that an old way of being is dying, what might be asking to be born? Don't look for a grand life purpose. Look for a tiny, authentic spark. Maybe it's the spark to quit the book club you hate, to finally start the messy journal, to take a walk without a podcast, to ask a different kind of question at work. These are the first fragile threads of a new why that you weave yourself. Nietzsche said, "One must still have chaos in oneself to be able to give birth to a dancing star." Your chaos, your heaviness, isn't your enemy. It might be the raw material of your next dance, your next truer story. The point is not to cure the heaviness, but to understand its message. Then, Build from there.